Welcome to episode 12 of my Stitch Diaries. Now today I'm going to be doing my normal content plus something else. So I might be getting a few new people popping over here today. So hello if you're new and hello if you're a regular viewer here. Now what it is, I'm taking part in a dressmaking challenge. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to tell you about the challenge first. Then I'll go on to my normal content where I'll show you things I've made, things I've been up to, things I've bought, maybe plans and whatever. Excuse me, I've got I think I've got a bit of an ear infection, so sorry if I start messing with my ear. Now, I've sat here, I've been in the craft room now for about 45 minutes and I've wanted to film, but I made the mistake. My husband said, have you got a hammer? Because he's off work due to weather conditions, and he said, have you got a hammer? And I said, yes, of course I have, darling. And then what I didn't foresee is he was going to be hammering, and then he got himself locked out. It's a good job I didn't start filming, and because of the wind, shut the door. And because it's school half term this week, do you remember me saying to you that they built a school over the road? Well, basically the school is built and the children are there, but they're doing work on the grounds while the school has been open. They're doing like football pitches, like floodlight football pitches and things, and basically while the children are off, they're actually driving diggers around down this end where it's finished. So there has been some beeping again. So if you remember before, when the whole school was getting the beep beep beep, there's been beeping going on. But unfortunately I've got to film this video today because this challenge that I'm involved in, I was watching Hale's More Sewing because I follow her, and I thought, gosh, I'm involved in that challenge. I messaged her and I said, oh, where did you get the art pieces from? And she said, you're up on the 23rd, Claire, and this was yesterday. So, I'm filming this on the 22nd, you're seeing this on the 23rd. I only remembered it was me on the 21st, so it's a bit, I've got to do this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pop a photograph, what I'm looking at on my iPad, I'm going to pop it up on the screen. And this challenge is called the hashtag SewFrugal22. Now, if you've been with me a while, or you've been watching other people like a year ago, there was a frugal frock challenge that I was involved with. I think it might have been my first or second challenge I've ever been involved in, like a dressmaking one. But I really like the sound of this one, the hashtag SewFrugal22, because it's not a frugal frock. Right, you can basically make anything. So, and we've got a while to do it actually. So basically these are the rules. It's number 1, choose a free garment pattern. Now I think the rules this time is it's got to be a free pattern for everybody. I think the rules were a bit more relaxed last year. I think you could just grab a pattern from your stash or whatever, but the pattern you choose, everybody's got to be able to get it for free, which that's quite good, I think. And so obviously last year I made my own thing up, didn't I? So obviously I couldn't have done that this year because I didn't really use a pattern as such. I used one as a bit of a guide for the size for the hips and things, but I just did my own thing, didn't I? I kind of did it as I went along. So yeah, I couldn't do that. So I've got to choose a free pattern this year, and I have got an idea. Number 2, choose fabric from your stash. Now the garment I'm thinking of doing is a t-shirt, so I'm going to have to look through all my jersey fabrics basically, and I've got my jersey fabrics in laundry bags in a wardrobe upstairs, an unused wardrobe that's in my middle son's bedroom. So the plan was I was going to take you up there, set up the camera and sit there in front of the wardrobe and show you what I've got, but it's half term and my son's in there, so I can't do that. So maybe before the final thing, maybe I'll do that in one of my videos. So yes, so if you're interested in that, pop back to a future video. So, and number 3 is make a garment in the month of March. So I've got to wait till it's March. We haven't got to wait long, have we? But you know what, if you started making it in February, who's going to know? Don't tell anybody. I don't know if I'm going to be making mine in March, in February. Maybe it probably will be March. I have got a lot going on. It's my youngest son's birthday in March, and I've got my auntie's funeral, got a hair appointment, a lot, general life and things. But and number 4 is reveal your garment on the 31st of March. Right, so you get that. So 1, choose a free pattern. 2, choose fabric from your stash. 3, make your garment in the month of March. 4, reveal your garment on the 31st of March. Now, the people who are running this challenge, they're basically the same people who was running it for the Frugal Frock last year, and it's Frugalissima, so at Frugalissima on Instagram, and at the Yorkshire Sew Girl. So and they've got Instagram and they've got YouTube, so check them out. Right, so that is the challenge I'm involved in. Now you will have seen yesterday, if you follow them, I don't follow these people. I haven't watched anybody else's video about this apart from Halesmore Sewing, because I follow her, but I will check you other people out. If you're visiting my channel and you've had your video already, I will be visiting your channel. So so bear with me. I will visit. But yesterday it would be Adam Sews and Michelle Sews Again, and today it's myself and Rosie Sews Modern Vintage. So obviously, and tomorrow is Beyond the Pink Door. That's Andrea, I know who that is, and one Lisa show as well. And then obviously there's more. So I'll pop a photograph of those ones that have been and that are coming up. I think there's 2 pictures of that. Let me see if there's another one. I'm sure there is another list. Maybe later on somebody else will share that. Oh, what's happening? Sorry about that. Right, now there are prizes to be won if you go in this challenge. So I'm going to pop some photographs up on the screen. So here is one. I found one, and there's another one. So I hope you're seeing that. And another one. So I found 3 photographs of different businesses that I've got involved, and you can win prizes from them. So I'll just be quiet. There's an ambulance. It's in the distance now. I'd have had to cut a bit of that out. Right, now there is a special treat for everybody, whether you win or not. And it says, the lovely Donna, I'll pop this on the screen as I'm reading it. A special treat for everyone. The lovely Donna from Size Me Sewing has offered us a free pattern download from her collection, the gorgeous Florence Boxy Tee. Use code FrugalT before the 30th of March 2022 to claim yours. So I might actually, I did go down to purchase this free pattern, I will admit, but I was on an Apple device, and then I decided what I'll do is I'll get onto my laptop and I'll do it that way, because I much prefer to have dressmaking patterns saved on my laptop rather than my Apple devices, because I can make sure the size is correct, and I can't always do that on my Apple devices, unfortunately. So yes, so I'm going to be downloading that, and I really like that t-shirt. It looks very fitted around the arms and round here, and then a bit loose around here, so it's quite nice, isn't it? Because sometimes you might want a loose style, but you don't want it like big at the top. I know at the moment fashion is very oversized, isn't it, especially for the teenagers, because I've got 3 teenage boys, so yeah, I know what it looks like. I'm used to this fashion because I'm a figure skater, and I end up I go in shows, and there's a lot of teenagers and kids that do the Christmas shows as well. I got to see all this oversized look even before my own children were wearing it, so I got used to it, and I think it just takes you a little while to get your head around it, doesn't it? Because if you've come from an age where we've watched Trini and Susanna, we're all about, pinching in at your thin points or whatever. Do you know what I'm saying? It goes against all that, wearing a sack, basically, doesn't it? You know what we've been taught. Right. So that's a treat for everybody. And there's another treat, and it's A0 printing discount for everybody. Now, I know not everybody that watches my channel is a dressmaker. So A0 printing is basically a file that you send to a shop that does A0 printing. So basically you'll get do you know when you buy a sewing pattern, that would have been an A0. Basically, if I just get this out, this was on a massive piece of paper. So this is how, you know, your A0 is. Now, if you get an A4 print, obviously it's for your printer at home, and then you'd sellotape or glue them all together. Or you can have a printed pattern that you get sent to. This A0 is a file that you send off to basically somewhere that can print it for you and then post the pattern to you. So this one is from Lauren from Guthrie and Garney, a part of her Sewing Society kit, which I'm going to talk about this make. That's why it's out. I'm going to just close it up so it's not rattling around. So basically what we've been gifted, it's Sew Fabricate. Murfield have kindly offered everyone a 20% discount off all A0 printing. Use the code SewFrugal22 at checkout. Can only be used once per customer, valid to the 31st of March 22. Now, did I tell you the code with the other one, the Frugal Tea? I did tell you, didn't I? But I'd have put that up on the screen, and I'll put this photograph up on the screen. Now, I don't think I've got any more photographs to show you that about that challenge that I'm involved in. So, right, now I'm going to talk about the things I've been making and things and plans and goings on and things. Now, I haven't got a list, so I'm just going to do my usual style where I've put things all around me and I'll hopefully not forget to show you things. So maybe because I've just spoke about Lauren from Guthrie and Garney and the sewing kit, maybe I'll talk about that first. Now, I recently purchased a kit to make the Avery leggings from Guthrie and Garney. Basically, she does kits where she'll give you the pattern, you have to print out the instructions yourself, and basically everything you need to make this garment. You get the thread, you get the needles, you get everything you need, elastic if you need it, and thread. Now, I said that I wasn't going to need the thread because I was going to sew my leggings totally on the overlocker. However, I ended up using both. So now what I ended up doing is the first stage of these leggings. Now I'll just pop this on the screen so you can see what it looks like. Now, I have made some leggings like this before. They look, basically those are high-waisted ones and these are the lower-waisted. Now, I've made leggings that look identical to that. Well, almost identical. There was no seam line on the front here. There was a seam line at the back. But other than that, they were the same. And they were the Clara leggings by J. Lee. And I made them with fabric from Guthrie and Garney. And they were like a green, like a bottle kind of green. And I really like that pattern. Now, they do look very similar, but they are different. Now, I showed you that pattern piece. Basically, you don't cut out a front leg piece and a back leg piece like you normally do with a lot of trousers. You normally have two front and two back. You just have two pieces and it basically wraps around your leg so you have no seam on either side. Now the J. Lee leggings, sorry, I've had a beat. They've just been mentioned, right? Basically, the J. Lee leggings, they are the same. They wrap around your leg, but they don't have a front crotch seam, and it's because how basically you fold it, and you basically put it on the fold. So these, you fold your fabric in half, and you cut out two pieces with these Avery leggings. With the J. Lee one, you do just cut out two, but you've got a fold. So the fold is basically the front crotch here. Right, that's the difference. So basically when you sew your Clara leggings, you sew in the crotch piece into the bend of the J. Lee leggings. But this one, we do it different. Let me just chuck this to the side. you sew your triangle in like this, and you do that on a sewing machine. And you really need to do that on a sewing machine because you've got I put tailor's tacks in my fabric and it tells you where to start, so I felt like I'd got more control doing that. And then you do it with the other side. Well, you basically sew your other leg piece on then onto the other side. So obviously I'm not going to give you a really detailed instruction on how to put this together. I'm just giving you a bit of an overview. So with the J-Lee ones, you kind of just sew it on a curve. Do I have any preference what was better? Look, it's been quite a while since I made the Clara leggings, but both I felt were fine. I had no issues with that. Now, something I did on the Clara leggings, I did on these leggings, which wasn't included. So when you've sewn in your crotch piece on this, they do suggest finishing off your edges on when you've sewn your front and your back, just finishing off your inside edges and around the crotch and things. Then you sew your inside leg seams. Now, what I did on these Avery leggings, which I took from my Clara leggings, I don't know if you'll be able to see it actually. I've got the leggings here. I've still got a tailor's tack in it that I need to pick out. This is the outside of my leggings. Now you might be able to see, that's my tailor's tack there. It's still in a bit of a zigzag on the outside here. Now you won't have that if you do these instructions, but on the J-Lee leggings, the Clara, for extra reinforcement, they sew on the outside edge all the way around for extra reinforcement. And because I wanted to use these for yoga purposes and things, and Pilates, that kind of thing, I wanted that reinforcement. So that wasn't included, but that's something I decided to do. Now, Carol was asking me, Carol, I'll put your Instagram account across the screen. Carol sells lingerie fabrics and she's on Instagram. She was asking me about these leggings, would they be good enough. She'd thought about this thing, would they be good enough for the gym? Well, I've made the Clara J-Lee leggings and I've wore those to the gym. I don't wear them all that much because of the colour, because it's with the green. Because if you've watched my channel a while, I made a top to go with it and I didn't like it, did I? I had too much boob on show and I said I'd get too much attention off males in the gym, so I didn't end up having a top to match. So it was getting things to match with this green. It wasn't all that good, was it? So yeah, I've wore them loads in the house. However, they have got a moth hole in them now because of the cotton content in my fabric. Quite a high, they were very elastic but they had a high cotton content, and I left them in the bottom of a wardrobe on a shelf. And I have seen, I do try and get rid of moths. I do all kind of moth repellent kind of things, but when a moth was spotted, it liked that middle wardrobe where my wardrobe is on that level, and I couldn't find anything in there, because what you've got to look out for is little fuzzy bits on your fabric, because it's their larvae basically. But yeah, I've got a nice hole in them, so only fit for the house now, unfortunately. But what I will say is, I had on the sizing, I actually chose the size I should make, but I actually sized up, because even if I sized up, the garment was still going to have negative ease. Now, negative ease is basically when the finished garment size is going to be smaller than your body. So even with sizing up, it was going to have negative ease. But I actually did a slightly bigger seam allowance because I used my walking foot on my sewing machine, and I wanted the fabric just to come out of the edge of the walking foot for nice control, but it made my seam allowance slightly bigger. So the seam allowance in this is 3/8 of an inch, which is great for an overlocker, and that's 1 centimetre on a sewing machine. But I've actually measured what I was doing on my sewing machine, and I was doing 4/8 of an inch, just an extra 1/8 of an inch, which in centimetres is 1.3 centimetres. If you want to work in millimetres, 13 millimetres. So it was worth actually being a bit, sizing up a bit, and then doing that little bit extra seam allowance, and the size is fine. Now the reason I wanted a size up is not totally because I wanted to do a bigger seam allowance, it's because I've got sensory issues and I just wanted these leggings to be really, really comfortable. Now I wasn't worried if there was going to be a fail garment and not fit for the gym, because there was enough fabric to make 2 leggings, which I haven't made a second pair yet, but in this kit you can make 2, so if they were only fit for the house I didn't mind. But I did end up going over all my edges with the overlocker after anyway, on the inside leg seam and things. Now the other issue I had, now I kind of wish I'd sewn my waistband piece. I actually did mess up. You've got 4 pieces for your waistband, and you're supposed to match a front and a back and a front and a back together and then piece them together. I matched a front and a front and a back and a back, right? Realised what I'd done, and I'd done it on my overlocker, and I could have had enough fabric, I could have cut out another piece. I thought, you know what, I'm just going to leave it. I think it's going to be fine. Now my only regret is I sewed in the top of the waistband piece with my overlocker, which didn't leave me much seam to play with. Now I wasn't entirely sure where they wanted the elastic. It just says sew the waistband the waistband and waistband facings together with the seam allowance, and then it says don't finish the seam. Well, I'd just sewn it on the overlocker, right? I didn't do it on the sewing machine. And then they want you to join your elastic piece. Now, it says decide, it doesn't give you suggested elastic size pieces in this. It does in the Clara leggings. It tells you for what size you're cutting, what size elastic it recommends. Obviously you can change it, but it gives you a recommendation. It doesn't in this. It tells you to decide by stretching elastic around your body, bearing in mind there's going to be a 1 inch overlap, and go as tight as you feel comfortable against your waistband. And it does say in big bold writing, right? I didn't read it. You want the elastic to be smaller than the waistband, right? I don't think I read that, right? But I put the elastic around. Now, you don't know for sure where these leggings are going to finish. Now, Lauren did kindly, from Guthrie and Garney, offer to leave her leggings in the shop for me to go and try, because I was going to cut out the same size, but I didn't get a chance to get in there. So if Lauren, if you're watching my video, thank you so much for that offer. And sorry, I just didn't get time. I only get time maybe if I'm going to get time to pop to your shop on a Friday maybe, and I just didn't get the time. So I just went for it. Anyway, I sized up the elastic where I thought they were going to sit, and it didn't sit where I thought. They actually came higher than I thought they were going to be, because the fabric is stretchy. You can measure where you think it's going to, but it's got negative ease, hasn't it? So I just had to guess. Anyway, I put it on and I thought, yeah, that'll feel comfortable. And Lauren did recommend that people wear the elastic on top of whatever they're wearing and walk around the house for a couple of hours and see how comfortable you feel with it. Anyway, when I sewed my elastic together and I put it into my leggings, my elastic was bigger than my leggings, right? Now, what I probably should have done is redone the elastic and put the elastic in the leggings, but I didn't want to do that. Basically, I just thought, well, I don't want to make this elastic too tight and be uncomfortable. So I did the ultimate sin. I stretched my leggings to fit my elastic, right? Which you don't do. You really don't do it. But I'd kind of had enough. And what I tried to do is, my middle son he was trying to talk to me about something, about a costume or something, or a computer game or something, while I was trying to decide on what I was going to do. And I could feel my heart rate rising. Anyway, in the Clara leggings, you sew your elastic into your seam allowance. So I thought, you know what? I'm not entirely sure with this where you sew it in. So I thought I'll do the same, right? And here are the pictures. So look, it shows you the elastic smaller and you stretch it round. And it just says, begin to sew and stretch the elastic to meet the length of the fabric between the pins. You'll have a gathering effect once you complete. Do not finish the seam. It doesn't really say, and then it says, it doesn't really say line your elastic up with the edge of the fabric or anything like that, right? And it doesn't really say sew it in the seam allowance. It doesn't say, basically, but the Clara ones say sew it into your seam allowance, which I tried to do, but I think I might have been going over the edge a bit. I'm not entirely sure. Then you've got to flip your elastic down and sew your elastic to your facing. Now you do that with the Clara leggings. I remember doing that. I just remember that went a lot smoother. I remember there was no issues. Anyway, when I finished sewing this waistband and I was all ready to put it in the leggings, your waistband pieces are meant to be offset by 1/8 of an inch. By the time I'd done everything I needed to do, the difference was like this. So what I ended up doing is just lopping it off to be level, right? And so my leggings have probably ended up a little bit lower than they would have been because I've lopped a bit off, right? Because I thought if I line these up, it's going to go off basically. So I lopped it off, but then I lost all my notches. But I thought, what? I don't care at this point. So I found all the points, matched it all up. And you know what? I've actually got a fantastic pair of leggings, even though my elastic was longer. I'll pop a photograph of me on the screen wearing them. I'm sorry, photographs of leggings, they're not great, right? But they're great. Like, this is what they look like off the hanger. So you can probably see the elastic doesn't look like it's pulling in. But on me, they're fantastic. They're so comfortable. And I didn't use my cover stitch machine or anything. Because I couldn't be bothered to get it out, because I haven't got a permanent place I can keep it all the time. And then you'd have to thread it up and everything. So I just zigzagged the hems and things. And do you know what? I'm absolutely delighted. And the only thing I would do different with the next pair, I would probably sew this part on the sewing machine, so I had more of a bigger seam allowance, and I would sew my elastic into my seam allowance like I did with the Clara, and then flip it down. I don't know how different it would end up. Would I do my elastic smaller? Maybe I would do it smaller, because I think if I did it like that, my leggings are going to come a little bit higher than these, but these are a lovely height. So I don't know what I'd do next time. Or will I make the J. Lee ones again with that other fabric? Maybe. I don't know. No, maybe I'll have another go with these ones. I will never be making the high-waisted ones, right? I cannot stand high-waisted leggings. I can't stand leggings right up by my ribs. It just feels, to me, it feels awful. So I won't be making them. I'm sure there'll be somebody. Usually most sewing vloggers I see, they normally like lengthening things because they're tall, and they're like raising the waist. I am totally the opposite. I shorten everything and I lower everything. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm the opposite. So maybe there's people out there that need somebody that likes doing things like me. I don't know. But anyway, the thing I was wearing in it, I've just seen how long I've been chatting for. I'm sorry to all the other people that don't do dressmaking, but I just, I've got to get this out of the way. Now, this is a shop bought t-shirt from H&M. I'll show you a photograph of what it used to look like. It had a neckband. It came up so high like this, and it just looked really awful. It just made my butt. I'm not very big busted or anything, but it just made my bust look too big but not flattering, if you know what I'm saying. And these sleeves, it just didn't look great. I wish I'd got a photograph of it on so you could see how bad it looked on me, but I didn't want to get rid of it. So basically, I cut the neckband off and I lowered the neck. I can't say how much I did it by. I just used a ruler and I folded my garment in half that way, and I just lopped a bit out and I took them a minimal amount out of the back. I didn't want to lose too much at the back. It was just the front. Now, if this had been a longer t-shirt, I probably would have cut a bit off and made a new neckband piece. But I didn't, because that's how I want it anyway, how it came. And I had a look in my jersey stash, and I didn't have anything that was going to match, so I just ended up just doing a fold over hem. I folded it over a couple of times. I suppose it would have been good to put a bit of stay tape in it to stop any stretching or anything, but so far so good. And it was only cheap. It was a 2-pack, so if it does go kaput, I'm not going to be too upset about it. And I capped the sleeve. I'm not sure how much by. I just basically I just thought I just wanted enough left here to do a hem, to turn it over, and I just angled it, and then I just did the same on the other side, and I'm really happy with that top now. Right, let's get away from the leggings and my hack. Now, I have shared the leggings. That was the photograph I shared on social media. So what have I been up to? Now, in a previous video, I wanted to show you something I'd bought, but then I'd run out of time. So I'm going to show you that now, because I don't want to run out of time again. I have purchased this very fine yarn from Berger de France. And what weight is it? It's 2-ply, so it's really, really thin, and it recommends size 2 needles or US size 1. I work in millimeters with my needles, and a crochet hook 1.75 and US size 1. I don't know if that's like a UK size needle, if that's millimeters, those sizes. I'm not entirely sure. I'd have to look that up. But here we go. This is the yarn, and it's to make a garment, right? So I'll just pop that in there. Actually, this is the first finished crochet thing I ever made. Look at some saggy basket. And actually, I didn't even start the middle. This is when I learned to crochet. Somebody started off the middle, and then I carried it on. So then I had to learn how to start off crochet. This was obviously many years old, but yeah, I'll talk about some of my early crochet things actually. Right, this is it's a book. It's magazine 15. It's a Berger de France. And this is what I want to make. Now, I think that is absolutely beautiful. A little bit saucy, I know, but with a natural colour bra or something, I could really see me wearing that in the summer. And it's cotton. It's mercenised. It does say mercenised in French, but I can understand it. In mercenised cotton it is. So, yeah, it's just stunning, isn't it? And I do wear little denim shorts and things. So that's a future make coming up. I don't know when I'm going to make that, but yeah, but not at the moment. But yes, that's an up and coming make. Now, what else? Now, there is some knitting and crochet and a bit of doll chat, right? If you like your dolls, then you're in the right place, because I love dolls, making them, Barbie dolls, Harry Potter dolls, you name it, right? So, now you've seen this doll before. Sorry, you've probably seen this doll a lot lately, but I need to show it for good reason. Now, this is a doll I knitted years ago, and it's an Arnie and Carlos pattern. And she's got little socks. She's got basically a flesh skin body, but when I knitted her pants as I went, like that look. So they're knitted in, they're not an afterthought. And then sorry about that, this little dolly is showing her panties, but and then I knitted her clothes. She hasn't got a vest or anything on. She's got a cardigan, and I embroidered her eyes on. I've got a bit of yarn, a bit of embroidery thread and things. But that was the first doll I made. I was so chuffed. She was my first knitted doll I'd ever made, and this is the book that it's from. Right, Arnie and Carlos knitted dolls. Now, what how I've ended up going back to this, and I did say I wanted to knit another doll, didn't I, in the future, but when I was sorting through the dolls I've rescued from the charity shop, the naked dolls with matted hair and things, and I showed you the doll that I dressed up in that Star Wars jumper I knitted, the Boba Fett jumper, in my last video. Well, I was looking at Merida doll, she's from the Brave movie. I rescued her from the charity shop many years ago. She was all naked, and I have made her a knitted jumper, and I sewed her a little skirt and put a little blue in, like blue and white. I put a blue bow in her hair. But then I was thinking, she does wear purple. She wears very like regal purple. Sorry, somebody's at the door. Sorry about that. Look what just came through the door. Mandy Shaw. Right, I am not going to show this in this video because there might be people that haven't had theirs yet. So I'm going to do an opening of this in my next video. So please understand why I'm going to do that. And I've seen how long I've been chatting for already, and I know I'm not going to have time to go through this as well. Right, so I was going to knit something else for Merida, and then I started knitting something out of this book, and I thought, well, they'll probably fit. Well, maybe some of them will fit, because on one of the first pages, they've got a load of Barbie dolls. Look here, with knitted jumpers on. There's Arnie and Carlos, and they've got lots of Barbie dolls in that basket with their clothes on and things. They talk about they like to dress them up, but the jumper that I started knitting, obviously once I got going, I thought there's no way it's going to fit. I'll find the jumper. Now mine's going to look different to this, and I am a tad annoyed, but I'll tell you about it in a moment. It's this jumper, but I've done different colours. I'm going to be knitting those shorts and that jumper, but and it's called the Setter Store pattern sweater, and I can hear drilling now. I'm really sorry if you can hear that drilling over the road, but if you look at that jumper, it's quite big armed and quite big, isn't it? But this jumper on this page, it looks, I'm trying to not show the pattern charts because obviously copyright and things. See this jumper here, it's a lot narrower, so I think if I'd have chose a jumper like that, it might have fitted the Merida doll, right? But never mind. Now, I carried on knitting it anyway. I thought, you know what, I'll just knit another one of these dolls for it to go on. Now, I wanted this big neck, this big fold over neck. Now, it says that you go to page 60 to get the pattern for this, and then you follow the colour chart on there. I'm sorry about the drilling, but I chose the longest collar that was on the page, and it was 10 rows long. But when I obviously cast off, it obviously didn't look like that collar. But what I've found out, on another pattern, they knit a neck for 20 rows, and that's how you get that massive fold over collar. But it doesn't tell you, it tells you this pattern is on page 60, but there is no instructions for telling you to do a collar that's 20 rows long. So I'm a tad annoyed about it actually, but I could, I suppose, well, here it is. I am really chuffed with it. This is the jumper I've knitted. Like, I am absolutely delighted with this lovely little doll jumper, but it's not got the fold over collar. I could fold it over like this and it'll be a short neck, but I'll just see when it's got a doll to wear it. Then I'll know what to do with the neck and whether I want to try and pick it up. Now, I've picked up stitches before and then undone and re-knitted and things, but it's two knit, two purl, two knit, two purl, and I'm not entirely sure how, if I go back and pick it all up, how I pick the pearls up to make it not look odd. But maybe I won't need to. Maybe I'll be quite happy with how that looks. I'll show you what it looks on the inside, because I know people that knit, they like to know what it looks on the inside. So that's what it basically, I twist every now and then as I go with this jumper. So yeah, it's lovely, isn't it? And I've knitted it in 100% acrylic, nothing fancy. It was stuff I got free from a knitting magazine that I was subscribing to for a while, and it turned out lovely. Now I've started the doll, right, and I had to stop, but it was good that I had to stop because I could work on something else, but I'll get to that in a moment. So, but I'll keep the book. So here we go. This is the start of my next doll. Now this, I've knitted purple legs this time. This girl, I kept her with plain legs because I wanted her a bit more versatile if I wanted to change her clothes, which I never change her clothes anyway. So I've knitted these purple, which you can do. So these are tights. So basically, and the reason I haven't done her body, a body colour, is because this is going to be a t-shirt. So you know, like she's naked under there, this one will have tights and a t-shirt underneath. And then this jumper will go on top. And I'm planning on possibly making these shorts, but maybe in the green to match this. So I think it's going to look lovely. And what I want to do this time, I want a blonde doll this time. It's got a brown haired doll, and this was basically, I was kind of copying myself. Basically most people that have known me a very, very long time will all, and my school life and everything, they all have known me as a little girl, a schoolgirl, as a blonde. Now anybody that met me probably after having my youngest son, who is now nearly 15, he's 14, nearly 15. I did say he was 15 in another video. He's nearly 15, he's 15 in March, but he's 14. A lot of people that have only known me since I've had my youngest would know me as a brunette, because I just started having my hair dyed dark. It got darker and darker, but I am in the process of getting back to blonde. Now people that are told that I was actually a blonde, because I've got such dark, like hazel eyes, like my eyes, I've got like green and brown. If you look up close, they're green in the middle and then brown around the outside, which I think is classed as hazel. People would just never believe that I was a blonde, and I'd really darken my eyebrows and things, you know, with a pencil and things. And then because I put fake tan on, I actually can make myself look Spanish, you know, if I really want to. But obviously people would not use it. But yeah, I'm getting fairer, so I'm going to do a blonde doll this time, basically. So yeah, so that's it basically. So so that is the doll that I'm working on now. Oh, what I was going to say, I couldn't carry on because you get up to here, then you knit the arms. So I'll start off with a skin colour, then it will change to a t-shirt colour, and then I'll join them all together and then carry on knit, because this is knitted in the round on DPNs. So you knit this in the round on DPNs. You start on using 5 needles, reduce to 4 needles, and then I've just got these on 2 at the moment. Do the same with the, probably start with 4. You know, you basically, I say 4. You have your work on 4, but you use a 5th needle to knit with, and sometimes you have your work on 3 and use your 4th needle to knit with, if you know what I'm saying. When you're working on the skinny bits, you go down a needle. But yeah, so I didn't have anything skin coloured, basically. I wanted something to match, so I had to stop this project and work on something else. But while I was waiting to start filming this video, basically the yarn I've ordered has turned up, and it's from lovecrafts.com, and here it is. Right, I'm just going to rip into it. So I've had to order a selection. So I've ordered Style, or the All Style Craft Special acrylic, and this is Toy, it's called. I'm guessing this is going to be the most suitable, but who knows. I'd ordered Buttermilk. Wow, I don't think that looks skin colour, does it? No, I'm definitely not going to be using that one for this. I could send them back. This one, oh, this is Hayfield Bonus DK, and this is Biscuit. Very similar. So either or, I'll probably be using either all of those. And there's one more, maybe if she wants to be a bit more tanned. This is Stone, So I could use stone. So basically, buttermilk is no good for skin. Definitely not. Little chickies with the Easter, do you think? But yeah, it's going to be one of these. So it just depends on what skin tone. Do I want it to be a bit more tanned, bit paler? But I think any of those would do. But I'll let you know what I end up using. So maybe in my next video you'll see a bit more progress of my knitted doll. Now, what I was working on while I couldn't work on this, and this was yesterday. Now, I've been making something for my auntie. It's my auntie's funeral, early March. And I was thinking of like buying flowers, but then I thought, do you know what, I want to make something. So I bought a wicker wreath at Christmas, because remember I made a Halloween and knitted all these little things one year, and then last year I attached them to like a wicker wreath thing for Halloween, and I bought another one. I was going to do a Christmas one, but I didn't end up using it for Christmas, so I still got it. So I've knitted up a green vine on my knitting mill, and then I've crocheted flowers, and then I've attached it to it, and this is what I've got so far. So I made all the flowers yesterday, and I've done the vine another day, and this is what I bought at Christmas. I'm not finished with this project yet. I'm probably going to put a bow here, and I'm actually going to, because I do calligraphy, I'm actually going to do a message to my auntie and say, you know, who it's from. Maybe laminate it and put it in the middle, and this is what I'm going to take to her funeral. She's having a cremation, so I think normally with a cremation you leave the flowers out in the foyer. Everybody goes in for the service and they come out and look at the flowers. So this is what I'm going to have, what I've made for her. So and I think her ashes are going to a place where we could put all the flowers out as well, where she's going to be laid to rest. So yeah, so I've really, you know, this is a really heartfelt thing, and I've really, you know, enjoyed, you know, making this for my auntie, making this effort for her. So yeah, so I'm not going to say any more because I'm going to get upset. So right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to talk about dolls, another doll thing. So do you remember my mum gave me a second-hand doll at Christmas? And basically I found out she was a doll called Our Generation, right? She's like a baby size kind of doll, if you know what I'm saying. And she was in pyjamas, and she had matted hair, and I sorted out her hair. I'd put some slippers on her, hadn't I? Well, I've bought her an outfit, not made it. She's been pottered. Right. Now, this is not an official potter outfit, so it's not perfect, but I got this off Amazon. Ta-da! She looks fab, doesn't she? So obviously this is not an authentic Gryffindor tie or an authentic jumper, but she does look like she goes to wizard school. And it came with these. A magic book. It doesn't open. It's just a decoration. And a wand, right? But the wand that arrived, look at this. It arrived on a chain, right? So it's meant to be for her, but what I'm thinking, hope I don't get stuck on my curlers. Wand for me, do you think? I think that would look really lovely. With, do you know, sometimes some outfits really look nice with a long pendant. Pendant, isn't it? Not pennant. I always get those mixed up. A pennant. Pendant? It's a pendant, isn't it? Not pennant. A pennant is a flag, isn't it? Pennant is the flag. Pendant is the jewellery, isn't it? Always get mixed up. So, yes, so Our Generation doll has been potted. Now, I found out exactly what this doll is when I redressed her. She's got a knob in the back here. So basically she was meant to have like hair. I can feel the hole in her head actually. You attach and you can make the hair grow in and out, but because she was second hand. I don't have the hair, unfortunately. But yeah, that's what's going on at the moment. Now, I am doing more things with my little Harry Potter dolls and things. So yeah, I'm going to be knitting some more Harry Potter inspired things for the dolls. But yes, I've got something I've got planned that I think's quite cute for my dolls. Well, it's basically Barbie is getting pottered right as well. So yeah, so I'm working on a little something. So yeah, I'll be back with that on my next video. So I hope you've liked seeing what I've made and my plans and things. And I hope there's something you've enjoyed. Now, I have been doing some Mandy Shaw. Do you know my red work blocks? I've stitched all the applique letters on now. I've just got some red work to do, and obviously I've got a new package to start working on now. So thank you so much for joining me today for my 12th episode of Stitch Diaries. I have been doing YouTube longer than 12 episodes. I have different series that I call them different things, but I think I've really settled with the Stitch Diaries because of the various kind of stitching I do. I can't really call it one genre like sewing or knitting or crochet, because I do bits of everything, don't I? But thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.